trapped by fear.
You get Papa Jimmy's place with me?
I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman who keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet. Heir to a spineless man who never forgets, never forgets that he's a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, Lord knows, to listen to me.
Peace and love, family. Welcome to the NEPPC podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm with one political prisoner. Today we focus on Nina Simone. You know, what is her meaning in 2024 as we continue to recognize strong, black, powerful women in International Working Women's Month. This is 2024, and we still have to be continuous with our celebration and our recognition of our women. Nina Simone, she was born in 1933. She was born in North Carolina. So imagine the level of racism that her and her family experienced. So you know, her living in that time, we gotta recognize what she was up against and what led her to do what she needed to do regarding how she was going to relate to how people were being treated. So it's very important that we understand who she was and what she stood for, because it gives us inspiration to do what needs to be done. One of her very important quotes that was said and need to be applied to musicians today is that, you know, a musician had a responsibility, or artist rather had the responsibility of reflecting the times. And that's what she taught us. She taught that not just by theory, but by practice. One of her very important songs was Mississippi Goddamn, and Mississippi addressed the South and its racism and how it was taking so long for any real change to occur. I think that inspired enough people. I know that inspired enough people to make a decision about what they were going to be a part of and what they were going to not continue to ignore. So I think today's discussion should inspire us to stand up and fight back in the spirit of Nina Simone.
love. Nina Simone was one of the most beloved artists of the revolutionaries. Sister Bella Plummer, who passed away, was the chairperson of the Southern Club movement. Love Nina. You know, Nina was was an activist. You know, Google, I call Google, I like to call her a civil rights activist. But actually, Nina was more of a black nationalist and a black power activist. And her activism was in her songs, you know. In the time that she lived, her songs were played very, very often, you know. Some of the most famous songs for women, Mississippi GD, and Young Gifted Black, and later on to mention something called Pirate Jenny, which a lot of people have never heard it. We probably play. For women, talk about 4 different types of black women: the dark skinned sister, mixed sister, tan, and brown skinned sister. You know, and Sarah, the dark skinned sister, you know, was beaten or was a slave. Sophronia was the mixed sister, you know, who was the offspring of a woman raped by a slave master. Sweet Thing was a prostitute, and in that song, Sister Viola's favorite character was Peaches. Peaches was the militant black sister. You understand? Who was an angry sister. You know, shoot something down, to beat something up. You know, that was Sister Viola's favorite character in that song, in the 4 women, you know. In Mississippi GD, Nina recorded that, you know, she was shook up and very, very upset by the bombing in Birmingham in a church that murdered 4 little girls, and the assassination of Minneapolis, you know. And that is what inspired her to write Mississippi GD. Don't Get to the Black was a song to inspire young black people, make them feel good about themselves, you know, to come back and to battle, you know, the inferiority and the hatred of self that the oppressor had put on the people, you know, not allow them to have knowledge of stuff, you know. So young black, you know, our black youth, and that was one of his most beautiful songs, you know. And like I said, that was activism, you know. Some people's activism is in different fields, but Nina's activism was in the street. And right now, a lot of y'all might not have heard Pirate Jenny. Pirate Jenny is a song about some black people attacking a racist town. You understand? And self-defense. You know, don't say that right now. You might be looking at it. You know, the microphone right there. All right.
But while he's finding that, let me just speak a little bit more about Nina Simone. Nina Simone, her friend was James Baldwin, slowly called Michael Langston. He was very conscious brothers, and you know, they stimulated her consciousness. We call Michael. He emphasized and organized Langston Hughes. He wrote about what was going on pertaining to black people, how they were being attacked. James Baldwin did the same thing. Just to give you an idea of the type of people she was around. Lorraine Hansberry, a playwright, was actually the one who probably was responsible for politicizing her or raising her consciousness anyway, because they didn't have typical girl talk. They talked about forward thinkers, Lenin. They talked about Marx. They talked about revolution. They talked about, you know, how you needed to see the world and how you need to relate to how you see the world. Because when folks were saying, you know, this is the world you created, now you got to live in it. And I think that, you know, that allows us to understand that, you know, this world is a world that is in existence at this time, and we can't get comfortable we're just accepting what's going on. We have to adapt to make. We have to adapt to what's happening, but we have to be fired up to change it and make it a change for our better. Brother, you found that piece that you was talking about? Nah, no problem. And another one of her quotes said, "I tell you what freedom is to me, no fear." And I think that is that's relatable exactly to the political prison, because the political prison has no fear. They understand that they have to stand up to an oppressive system. They have to deal with it from a position that they have a right as a people to protect their people's interests. So we have to be mindful of that, and we have to do what needs to be done when it comes to our people being attacked. And we can't be relaxed, and we can't be nonchalant, because we don't want our children to inherit these problems. So so that's the piece you okay. Yes.
Pirate Jimmy.
It's a story of Jenny in a farmhouse in Germany. We transported Jenny to a farmhouse in South Carolina. And Jenny has decided that she's going to kill everybody this night. Everybody that's coming to that farmhouse, she's going to kill them tomorrow. She's going to
Pirate Jimmy.
But you'll never guess who you're talking. No, you'll never guess who you're talking. Someone like that. And you say, who's picking up around? Then you see me down at the bin while I'm scrubbing. And you say, what the hell you got to win by now? I'll tell you there's a shame. Will be coming here. You gentlemen can say, that's what the hell's wrong with you? I know you here. And you see you up here, stand up out at the ship. But I'm down in your head because I'm making it. But there's nobody gonna sleep here. Not tonight. No. Suddenly one night there's yell in the night and you say, what the hell is that? And then you see me kind of staring out the window and you say, what the hell you got to stare at now? I'll tell you there's a shame. Around the harbor, you can from now the gentleman that I that smile is every building in the town is a black. This whole freaking place will be down to the ground. Only this cheap hotel standing up safe and sound. And you yell, why do they spare that one? And you yell, why do they spare that one? All the night through the noise, and to do you wonder, who's that person that lives up there? And then you see me stepping out in the morning, looking nice with a ribbon in my hair. And the ship, the black flag,
Great stuff.
rides a flag from its masthead. I'm trying to find a swan with me, and out of the ghost
Wait, nah.
Tell them now or later what you want. Kill them now or later. Noon by the clock, and so still at the dock, you can hear a foghorn miles away. And in that quiet of death, I'll say, and they pile up the bodies, and I'll say, burn you.
They'll learn you.
And the chef, the disappeared out of sight. And gone is me.
There you go. That's Pirate Jimmy. That was Nina Simone on the piano. Nina learned to play the piano when she would sit on the still on the feet, wouldn't even touch the floor. She learned to play the piano. That's her, her skill, on the piano. So anybody want to look that up, just look up Pirate Jenny. We don't hear that one too much. That's Nina Simone. That's one of the December 12th movie's favorite songs. Viola used to love that song, and Sister Nina Simone, beautiful actor, beautiful activist, loved our people, did much work for our people, and much respected, a sister dedicated to Black Power,
Yes.
Black Power in her song.
Yes, and I think that what says a lot about her, as one of her quotes was, she lived free, right? She had no fear, and she was very serious about how she was going to relate to what her people were going through. And one of the songs, aside from Mississippi Goddamn, is when she did Strange Fruits, right? Strange Fruit. Everybody associates that song with Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday did an extraordinary job. Nina Simone came and showed solidarity regarding what was going on to her people, and she put her passion into that song. So when you listen to that song, you know that she relates to what her people are going through, and she taking it personal. And I think that's what an artist should do right now, right? In 2024, you have artists focusing more on money, or at least the artists who are getting more recognition than others, because there are artists that are conscious and they're making music that needs to be recognized as much as those who are getting regular airplay. And I know that they have these machines behind them to make sure that they get that regular airplay, whereas those who are conscious don't have the same resources. That's why we have to make it our business to play those conscious songs wherever possible, and we have to support them whichever way we can, whether it's playing the music wherever it can be heard, or going to a concert, or buying their merchandise, doing what's necessary to raise awareness about what's happening in the world, and how do you intend to deal with it, right? We see what's going on with Palestine. We see each and every day there's another episode of somebody expressing the state of their mental health. They're violent with somebody, and I think that, that's all of our problems, all of our issues, and we have to make a decision about what we're going to do about it. What organization are we going to support? What work are we going to do? That's why when we come on this podcast, we're always putting out our contact. For those of you who are viewing on TikTok, first and foremost, thank you for your time. 347-679-3936 is the number to contact about doing some political prisoner work. That means writing. That means making a phone call, whatever you're comfortable with doing, right? Because everybody ain't at the same position. So we got to keep that in mind. And we have to step up, though. Step up to the level that we are committed to doing particular work. And I think that, Nina Simone's music should inspire that passion that we should have in ourselves. And it might not be as advanced as it probably should be, right? Especially if you're a parent, right? Automatically, when you see your child, you should be ready to go to the fullest extent possible until that child becomes an adult, and then they have their own views about what's happening and how they're going to deal with it. But until then, while they're a child and they're under your authority, then you have to be willing to step up and go as far as you possibly could, whether it's in the schools, it's in the community beyond the school. You have to make an assessment about what's happening and take a position. I know when you were in prison, right? And there was certain music that you would hear. How would it inspire you as a former political prisoner to do the time that you were doing for the cause that you stood up for?
Well, I would hear music. One of my favorite pastimes when I was locked down, was listening to songs. Some of them, make you get up and do the boogaloo, make you dance. Then the songs with a message. Being in prison, was something I didn't do. I had a very, very strong political sense. Being a sense of justice. In that cops putting their hands on me, then I fight back, and then they get them on the stand, look like little college boys, lying, talking about I attacked them, and I'm doing time for that. Then I was very conscious of justice, and fight for political rights, so whenever these movement songs came on, I was very, very in tune to them, and talking about sister Nina, we're talking about women, and women having a very, very powerful role, in our situation. Nina, like you said, brother, Nina was very, very fearless, and it's very you got to be fearless to stand up and fight a heartless, inhuman system like we're living in today. You mentioned Palestine. In Palestine, the Israel and the U.S. are intentionally starving people. People are starved to death already, and millions of people are facing starvation. And these folks know this, And one thing that they use a big old long con game is this thing about religion, that Israel has a covenant with God. They done thrown their covenant behind their back. They done tore that covenant up, because the covenant with God say you must be just. You must example, God's will on earth. They thrown that behind their back. God ain't got no covenant with baby killers. God ain't got no covenant with people who steal land, with thieves. God ain't got no covenant with people like that. So that covenant is gone. You understand? So we must speak the truth. A lot of people ain't gonna say that publicly. People are scared to talk like that publicly. But as Nina did, we must tell the truth. We must be absolutely fearless and stand up. And Nina Simone, a positive example of that. And that's why she's well loved today. Her music continues to be played. We have many anthems coming from her work. Long live the work and the fighting spirit Sister Nina Simone.
Yes.
Warrior woman.
Absolutely. She said that you have to learn to get up from the table when love is not being served.
Yeah.
That point right there, that quote is very powerful and very important because she was endorsing. Right. It was, that point is very important because it's an action, right? You get up and leave from a table. You're taking action. You're not just sitting down and accepting what's happening. And I think that can be applied today, and that can be applied directly to our political prisoners. They chose to get up. They chose to stand up. They chose to stand on principle. And I think, that's very important to understand what that means in 2024 when we look at what's happening in Palestine, when we look at what's going on in our communities, right? You have lack of affordable housing. You have there being no universal health care. So people are going or not getting the best treatment because of their lack of medical coverage. I think that, how do we respond to that? What's our reaction to that? And I think that Nina Simone, her position would be get up from the table. If love is not being served, get up and do something, take action. So that's why when we chose to talk about Nina Simone, it directly related to political prisoners. So we raised the question once again, as we do on our platform, what are you doing as it relates to political prisoners? Have you accepted what the state has said about our political prisoners? The state has said that there are no political prisoners, that these people are terrorists, they're criminals. And we say that no, they are captured freedom fighters. They are political prisoners because political prisoners are people who stand up and fight back to oppressive conditions. And it's because of their actions, they are dealt with consequences, right? You have political prisoners and you have martyrs. And you had them since the inception of the United States of America. And we have to understand that when we do a historical analysis on the country that we live in and what's going on today, because they are still political prisoners. You have Joy Powell. We have a strong, great relationship with Veronta Bowers. We have a strong and great relationship with, these are people who are going back and forth in terms of conversations, and we're building on ideas, and we're doing our part to make sure that they're not forgotten, letting them know that there's a force out here organizing and fighting to raise awareness, to make sure that people know that there are people who are fighting, right? And because they chose to take a position that they have to deal with consequences. So we would like our audience, our viewers, to take some time to write to a political prisoner. This is International Working Women's Month. There's a political prisoner by the name of Joy Powell. We always provide her contact for you, and in a few minutes we'll do that. We would like for you to write to her, because being International Working Women's Month, just salute her. Say we want to recognize you, or I recognize you as a strong woman. Look at her biography, and you see what she was involved with in terms of her organizing her community. She was standing up against police brutality and whatever else was going on. She has not accepted the time that they said that she has to do. She declared her innocence when we visited her, and she still declares her innocence. She embodies Nina Simone's spirit, that she has no fear, right? That's freedom. And she has that in her mind, and she's living that. And just to see somebody not being broken down by a system. Even when he left, I left that image in my mind of her holding up her fist as I left, and she stood like that until I left. So that means a lot to me, and that inspires me to fight harder, to be more passionate with my fighting, to evaluate what we're doing regarding our podcast, and make sure we do our best to present the best quality podcast. It's always a challenge, but it's necessary, because we are artists, right? And we have that duty to reflect the time. Our art is our podcast. And this is the picture that we are painting on the canvas that is provided for us. So if you're viewing this, wherever you're at, Instagram, Facebook, please share with as many people as possible. Let the people know that they can get involved. Our phone number is 347-679-3936. If you're interested in doing some political prisoner work, contact us. But have an assignment for you, you know, based on what you're ready to do. You know, I could go on and on to talk about Nina Simone. And I'm just thinking about the challenges she faced and the fact that she was determined to never be broken down, to continue to fight for her people and to let anybody anywhere, because she had a platform that there's a serious injustice happening, and that injustice must be addressed by us. What if you're a teacher, right? Wherever you're at, and you're teaching students about Nina Simone, what would you teach them that's most important about Nina Simone? This is somebody that's in grade school or even high school, whatever school that they're in.
Well, something that comes immediately to mind is that I would say that when we talk about historical figures like the sister, that we relate this to our situation today. This moment, this day, this moment, this second, you know. So one thing that you're going to hear every time you turn on the radio, and you're going to hear a lot of it, is there's an election coming up, you know. So I tell students, you know, to visualize 3 boxes, you know. One that you have to put a check in. One box says genocide. One box says fascism. And the third box is your organizing, what you do yourself, you know. And this is what Nina did, you know, the independent action to raise the consciousness of the people, you know, to inspire the people, you know, to put strength in the people, to put strength and determination in the people. There's the third box that you check, you know, to organize masses and masses and masses of people to demand justice, you know, to make the earth straight when you march, you know. You understand what I'm saying? To have fire and brimstone in your speech, you know, to reach the heart of the people, you know, to bring about some action, to bring about some work, you know. That's the third box that we got to check, you know. And as said in Nina's biography, her song Mississippi GD, you know, it will relate to the Black Lives Matter movement today, you know. So we must look at her example, you know, being in the world that the youth are going to take over, you know. They're growing up, and so it's going to be their world. So politics is a fight, you know, you understand, to make your will, you know, come into a reality. What you will in your heart and soul, to make it come to life in the real world. That's what politics is, and that's you know, your independent action, your organized scientific action, well thought of, intellectually, you know, scholarly, you know, understanding and analyzing what's going on today, you know, and to get at it, you know, and understand you're young, gifted, and Black, you understand, and you have all the qualities and all the necessities to win and to be triumphant.
And that's right. If you're viewing on TikTok, I just want to give you the information for Joy Powell. The information is Reverend Joy Powell. Her number is 07G0632, Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, P.O. Box 1000, Bedford Hills, New York 10507-2499. Again, that's Reverend Joy Powell. Her inmate number is 07G0632 as Bedford Hills Correctional Facility. The P.O. Box is 1000, and that's Bedford Hills, New York 10507-2499. She'll love to hear from you.
Reverend Joy Powell.
Let her know that you're recognizing who she is in International Working Women's Month, that you have passion and respect for her, and you letting the people know, or you're letting her know, that she has not been forgotten, because we don't forget political prisoners, and we don't let political prisoners die in prison. We continue to fight with them. Well, we don't accept the idea of political prisoners should die in prison. And the way you don't accept that idea is actually take action, right? Because of course we have to fight, and sometimes we do bring political prisoners home, and sometimes we don't. You know, it's a question of power. And how we get power? We get power by organizing, by raising our consciousness, by strategies and tactics. And we have to let people know that we are not without power, right? It's closer to us than we realize. It's just about time, place, and conditions and commitment. So once you're committed to the acquisition of power, it's only a matter of time before you have it. It's all about how much you're going to commit yourself to being organized, which requires discipline and focus. Nina Simone, a great artist, a great contribution to humanity, whether it's the arts or her struggle or fight, her position relating to standing up to injustice. You know, Nina Simone has given us a number of examples of what we can do, because I know by her making a song she made, certain people decided that they were not going to do business with her. So that was sacrificial in terms of finances, but she stood on principles, and we should follow that example, because 2024, you know, this idea of I can't help you until I help myself, or if I ain't good, you ain't good. I mean, what does that mean? Does that mean you need a slice of bread or 2 slices of bread? What does that actually mean? So we have to demand clarity on certain ideas when we hear them. So this is the month of Ramadan. So all who are practicing Ramadan, you know, keep our political prisoners in mind. Imam Jamil, that's your brother of the Islamic faith. Show solidarity by writing to him. Let him know that he's not forgotten. So is Imam Jamil Al-Amin. He's your brother in faith. You know, don't let him be forgotten. Write to him. We provided you with contacts. If you were not able to write it down, our phone number is 347-679-3936. Also, make a donation based on what you're able to donate. Cash App is $SEFUSANKOFA. That's Sefus Sankofa. Cash App me. Let me know what you want done with your donation, and I'll get it done. Show you a picture, show you a live video, show you where I'm at, and how that work was utilized, or how that donation was utilized. So, brother, those are my final words. What is your final words, brother?
Well, just that again, this is Women's History Month. You know, we're looking at the history of women and their contributions, and you know, keep in mind, I always know that women are very, very powerful. You know, they are the mothers of the country. You know, Nina was called the high priestess of soul. You know, and let's keep the struggle up. Look up Nina's songs online. You know, and you know, continue to play them. You know, it's been, you know, some that we haven't mentioned in this little sit down. You know, she's made many, many beautiful songs. Like the brother, like they were talking about earlier in another clip that talked about "I Put a Spell on You," talking about love. You know, so keep it up. You know, and keep that fire. You know, and be a warrior woman. On you sisters out there, be warrior women. You understand? Fight for the right, fight for justice. You know, fight for the love of your family, fight for the love of our nation. You know, and you know in your heart and your soul, without a doubt, we're gonna win.
What's the call?
Free them all.
What's the call?
Free them all.